My dear fellow Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, I bring you revolutionary greetings. I'm coming out to us today to react to the latest outing of Comrade Chris Anu. My take on that particular outing has to do basically with what Comrade Chris Anu said concerning our restoration forces, concerning our boys and girls on ground zero who have volunteered to put their lives on the line to protect their parents and grandparents, their mothers, their daughters and wives, and to protect their children from the carnage being unleashed on them by the terrorist forces from La République du Cameroon. Comrade Chris Anu, in his communication, noted that henceforth any group, any defense group, any self-defense group on ground zero that will not fall under the aegis of the Ambazonian Security Council created by the interim government will be considered enemies, will be seen as agents of La République, will be seen as a group of people sponsored by a Tanganji, and will be treated as such, will be treated as enemies. What this simply means is that they are going to turn their guns onto these people. I'm not only saddened, but thoroughly dismayed with such declarations, especially so because we all know that before the interim government embraced the idea of self-defense, there are groups that had been on the ground, on ground zero, doing excellent jobs, defending our brothers and sisters, defending our vulnerable people from the evils being perpetrated on them by the terrorist forces sent by Mr. Paul Biya from Yaoundé. Let us remind ourselves that while the interim government was still contemplating what form its interventions on the field would take, these groups were already out there making life difficult with little or no means for the soldiers from La République du Cameroon to attain their evil objectives of wiping our people out and of taking our territory once and for all from us. These groups battled day and night to convince all of us that it made sense for us to rise up and defend ourselves at a moment where we were still in denial, where we were still believing that we could succeed only with the diplomatic offensives alone. So if today the interim government has embraced self-defense as a way out in the struggle, it only makes a lot of sense for this interim government to join forces with the people that are already on the ground, to share ideas with those people that are already on the ground, to make sure they put in place a beautiful and well-executed collaboration platform with the forces on the ground to see how to assist, provide assistance where necessary to get the various forces on the ground achieve the objective of sending the colonizer away from our territory. Rather unfortunately, the statements, which I will call here as irresponsible by Comrade Chris Anu, set the scene for massive bloodshed among Southern Cameroon's Ambazonian defense groups, self-defense groups. Let us remind ourselves again that these boys and girls did not take up arms because they were so anxious to take up arms. They did not take up arms because they felt like they needed to just go brutalize our way into sending Yaoundé and its agents out of our territory. I beg your pardon. These boys and girls took up arms because they don't want to die, because they want to defend the remaining people on the territory from the evil incursions that come up daily, from the carnage being perpetrated daily on us by La République du Cameroon. My dear brothers and sisters, I believe if there's ever been any moment where we all come together like one person to condemn irresponsible declarations, this is the time to do so. Let us recall to our comrade Chris Anu, who himself has sacrificed a lot in this struggle right from the beginning, who himself continues to sacrifice a lot, and whom I believe will continue to sacrifice a lot in this struggle, let us draw his attention to the fact that he must retract this kind of evil statements and show a sense of restraint henceforth when he comes out to make declarations, to avoid those declarations that will lead to Ambazonian guns turning against Ambazonian self-defense groups. This would be the most ridiculous thing ever that would happen. Let me say this to the interim government. The role of a government is not to compete with the people and groups it purports to govern. The role of a government is to be a facilitator to all the activities of the various individuals and groups it purports to govern. What does this mean? This means if Mr. A comes up with a wonderful initiative that will help take us to Boya, that will help us attain the overall objective, it makes a lot of sense for such a government to move in, to weigh in, and give the necessary assistance in all forms. If it is a group, it makes sense for such a government, if indeed it has to operate like a government, to go out there and support such a group. The role of a government is not to compete with the people and groups it really says it is out to govern. When that is done, the government itself only becomes another group, like all those groups. The government itself almost transforms itself as an individual, like all the other individuals. It actually should stand out there tall and govern. That said, I'd like to draw our attention, or let us remind ourselves again of something I said as soon as we came out from the Zaria conclave. I pointed out that we had failed in Zaria to achieve the much desired unity that was going to propel this revolution to very safe shores. And because we had failed to achieve that unity, it became incumbent on us to operate henceforth as partners, to create situations that give us room to cooperate, to collaborate, and to make sure we don't engage fighting each other. This means each group, each individual will come out there and engage in activities that will help us secure our various portions of Amber land. I even took an example of two scenarios that happened in a distant past that could explain the kind of situation in which we find ourselves. Let me go back there. I talked to us about the German unification, the wars that led to German unification. In the situation of the various German colonies dotted left and right, and that were being colonized by other European powers, particularly France, all the people fell behind the strategy put in place by Otto von Bismarck, von Roon, von Moltke, and Kaiser Williams I. And that is how they were able to defeat France and proclaim German unification in the House of Mirrors in Versailles, France. I took again the example of Italian unification, where everybody did not come together, where you had various groups of people and individuals doing their own things in various sides, but aiming at the same objective. That was the Italian unification. We all know, those who read that history, how Garibaldi, with his 1,000 red shirts of volunteers, fought so hard, coming from their own end. How Prince Camillo Cavo, who was also with his own group that he had created, fought so hard and brought in Sardinia. We also know how Mazzini, the journalist, called Mazzini the noisemaker, because he was fighting even with his mouth, also fought so hard from his own end. And all of these efforts congregated in the mighty victory that led to the reunification of Italy, to the unification of Italy, the modern Italy that we see today. I pointed out that this latest scenario is what is operating in Ambazonia, southern Cameroons. Let each group, each individual from their angle, because we have not been able to achieve that kind of unity we wanted, and because we even see today, on basis of the kind of events that have unfolded, that such unity may even become a danger, let each group keep the faith. Let each group fight hard to defend their own portion of Amber, and let us be fighting from each side and coming to the middle. Today, what is happening on ground zero is that in virtually every community, self-defense groups are coming up. People are coming up to defend their communities. And so it will be preposterous to say if these people come up to defend their communities, do not pay allegiance to the ASC that they may not even be aware of, whose objectives they may not even know, they will become enemies, is a very embarrassing statement. So I'm urging Comrade Chris Anu to honorably come out here and withdraw this statement and say something that will be more soothing and say something that will contribute in enforcing cohesion on the ground. And by this, urging all Southern Cameroonians to come out there and condemn such statements in the strongest terms so that they will in the future not come out of the mouth of any other person. Coming out of the mouth of Chris Anu, they are wrong. Coming out of the mouth of any other person, they will be wrong. This issue of wanting the groups to be in competition, of wanting to condemn this or that group in order to come out of it strong, is only weakening our struggle and weakening our resolve. When you talk on behalf of the interim government, and you seek to condemn this group, condemn that one, attack this person, attack the other one, you reduce the interim government therefore to only one group like all the other groups. It will no longer be seen in the eyes of anyone as being that unifying factor around which all other efforts should congregate. My dear brothers and sisters for Ground Zero, especially Wuna don't take up arms. Not because na be life for take up arms or because na no one for die. We don't take up arms for defend una so for so una no fit just die so una eyes are open. I want congratulate una once more. In fact, I don't remove my heart, hold on for my hand for una. And I want for encourage una. Say make una continue this fight with all una might all the way. Make una continue for collaborate as una don dey do. Make una continue for exchange information as una don dey do. Make una continue for the same people the way they know. Make they go for other parts for meet other groups the way they never be trained, where they no get no idea how to go about these things as una don dey do am. Make una continue for foster that unity among una. Make una continue to do am for way it go make una go remain strong. And no, say there's so plenty people that they call from outside. So one day because they give money, they want to tell una say una go cause trouble for this group or the other one for sabotage this group or the other one. Make una no yield to those things. Make this division, this political fight where they for diaspora, make it no meet up una for Ground Zero. Make una cover una eyes una ignore this nonsense. I did talk to some for repeat say people the way they get political ambition, where they want power. People the way they get business ambitions. May they just be patient. Very soon, by the grace of God, we will win this war. We will take back Amberland. We don't come down on the ground. They go out there. They go campaign democratically. We go elect the people the way we want them. At that time, they go govern we. The way they want to do business opportunities, they go there. They go out there, they go do their business peacefully. But for now, now struggle for free with homeland. Now struggle for secure the future of who picking the most of them way they did for bushes. So one day way they did for foreign countries as refugees. So one day way they basically they want go finish and never know which way they go chop. This time at the moment for pay attention to these people. That the people then that way will fight for. So anytime we will not fight, we will not fight for any group. We will not fight for any individual. We will not fight for any selfish ambitions. We will not fight only for the flag of Amberland. And we will not always fight in the spirit of God. I did take this one talk so for make sure say anytime with any person from diaspora one bring that division we did for diaspora among una, make una simply ignore it. Una continue for do witty way this far una don't show we say una sabi for do am best. Make God is spirit, a day would we. My name na John Ba Akuro.